people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Claressa Shields on proposed Ali Act changes, MVP contract offer, and more. A Claressa Shields interview is rarely a boring affair, but her appearance on the latest edition of the Ariel Helwani show left plenty to chew on, even by her standards. The most accomplished fighter in women's boxing today, and self-proclaimed GWOAT, gave behind-the-scenes details on her lucrative re-signing with Salida Promotions and Win Records, called out fans for not appreciating Franchon Cruz's recent win over Deja Green, didn't immediately recognize the name of Christie's actress Sydney Sweeney, asked Ariel Helwani if he'd ever been in a fight, and said she was shopping for a private jet.
A private jet?
Well, I really don't think she makes enough to buy and subsequently maintain a private jet. Even with her $8 million deal, a private jet can run you anywhere in between $2 million to $110 million to purchase,
And more than that to maintain.
Shields' new deal is worth $8 million for 2 years. She told Ariel Helwani that it was worth it, but it was so difficult, and that she talked to virtually everybody else available before inking the contract. In particular, Shields said she was super close to signing with MVP and talked frequently with CEO Nakisa Badarian. In the end, it wasn't enough money. The only person I wasn't able to talk to was Turkey LL Sheikh. I think that's because he's not really big on the women yet. Shields added, he's very hard to contact.
You're telling me that MVP did not have enough money for Claressa? Bear in mind, the estimated value of her 2-year deal is what both Katie and Amanda got for one fight.
You heard that right. What it's going to take Claressa Shields 2 years and 4 fights to make, Katie and Amanda got that in one night, facing each other. But go on about how MVP didn't have enough money. Shields' deal is for 4 fights over the next 2 years, and despite her dominance over everybody, you could reasonably expect her to fight. A significant portion of the interview concerned her attempts to make a fight with Laila Ali and her disappointment that Laila declined a $15 million offer. She had no shortage of motivation. Anybody that wants to get beat up by the GWOAT can fight the GWOAT, said the 30-year-old Shields. I've got enough time to fight everybody, but Shields also wants to blaze a trail for those who come after her. As nice as $8 million in 2 years is, Shields said, I want to make it where the girls coming up after me can make $25 million deals and $50 million deals. That's what I'm trying to get to, and show them a blueprint. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there simply aren't enough bodies anywhere in between 175 and heavyweight for Claressa to generate and subsequently make that kind of money. The opponents simply aren't there.
The recorded purses for both Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano's last meeting are in the neighborhood of $18 million in total. 9 for Katie, 9 for Amanda. And you didn't see either Katie or Amanda shouting it from the rooftops that they were making this kind of money for one fight on one night.
Where Claressa had to make this huge announcement that she'd be making $8 million over 4 fights in the next 2 years, accenting her penchant for grandstanding and the pursuit of attention.
She sort of gave it away who she's going to fight next. She's been saying that there's fight news pending, and at the top of the article, she sort of gave it away that it's going to be Franchon. It's going to be her old buddy, Franchon Cruz.
Franchon and Claressa both debuted as professionals against each other. They fought each other. Claressa won. Now, Franchon currently holds 2 of the 4 major titles in the super middleweight division, but I don't think a rematch between them will be at super middleweight. I think that Franchon will move up and challenge Claressa for her titles at heavyweight.
Accenting what I've been telling you all along, Claressa probably could get back down to 168 to what is a more densely populated weight class, closer to more fights, closer to a fight with Deja, with Savannah, and Frenchon. She could do that, but she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to cut the weight. She's going to stay put. So Frenchon will move up.
It's what I think is going to happen. Moreover, because Claressa has told the world that she's making roughly $2 million per fight, she's going to use that as leverage against anybody who might want to fight her and any promoter who might want to use her, that if you want me to cross over to your side of the street, you've got to pay me $2 million plus.
Which I don't expect her to get from somebody else's promoter.
A veiled tactic to funnel opponents to her, to the Dimitri Salita side of things. That if anybody wants to fight Claressa Shields, they're going to have to cross over to the Salita side of things to do it.
Though I question how many are going to, since I don't think Dimitri Salita is going to be paying these girls what MVP might pay a girl. What MVP may be paying a Jadeja Green, a Raquel Miller, a Savannah Marshall. That push comes to shove, the money's going to dictate what happens, the money out to these opponents.
And if those girls at MVP stand to make more money staying put instead of being B-sides for Claressa, they're likely going to stay put. They're likely going to stay where they are.
So who does Claressa fight?
Oh, well, I think she's about to fight Frenchon Crews in her first fight of this new deal. Maybe the second fight will be a rematch with Hannah Gabriels.
Hannah Gabriels? She getting on in age?
Buddy, she was just calling out a damn near 50-year-old Layla Ali.
That's how I think it's gonna go. We'll see if time proves me right.
In men's junior middleweight news, Eddie Hearn questions Oscar De La Hoya's motives regarding Ortiz and Ennis negotiations. Public posturing has already commenced between rival promoters Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn in regards to staging a fight between Virgil Ortiz and Jaron Ennis. Seconds after Ortiz knocked out Erickson Lubin inside of 2 rounds on Saturday, Boots Ennis stepped inside the squared circle at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas, and faced off with Ortiz to begin building a potential bout. This can be a great negotiation, De La Hoya told reporters on Saturday. When I say this has to be favorable to Virgil, that's the obvious case. Look at what he did. Look at what he is. Virgil is the man. Having the fight in Las Vegas is going to be huge. Virgil has to be the favorite here when it comes to negotiations. As long as they are favorable, we'll make the fight happen. There's no problem. Money is not going to be an issue. There will be enough money in the pot. And yet Rick Merrigan, in regards to the money, who manages Virgil, he's asking for $10 million.
Oscar says money's not going to be an issue, but the amount of money that Rick is asking for is a major issue. They're not going to kick that out to Virgil.
Hearn better not say Ennis is the guy. There's no question that I have the man. There is no question that Virgil Ortiz is the man. I feel that these negotiations will be negotiations just like any other fight. We'll go back and forth, but at the end of the day, Virgil is the man.
What this entire fiasco accents is something I've been telling you for year after year here on the channel, that it takes 2 teams to make a fight, 2 guys, but it only takes 1 to fuck it up. Virgil is unbeaten, Boots is unbeaten, Virgil has an interim title, Boots has an interim title. They both box on the same platform, so the platform is not an issue. It's really not about sides of the street because they're on the same side, and yet
here we are.
I don't care who's on what side, Hearn told reporters. I don't see how Ortiz is the A side. What makes you the A side? Ortiz has never won a world title. Boots has been welterweight world champion and unified the division. I just think they are 2 great fighters. A side, B side, Z side. Make the fight. Once you start hearing things like that, like the terms have to be right, and we want $10 million, it's like, whoa guys, do you actually want this fight or not?
The reason they're doing all that shit is because they don't want the fight. Ortiz's manager, Rick Merrigan, wrote on social media for Matchroom not to send anything our way unless it has 7 zeros on it, or it won't even get looked at.
My question is, if the people at Golden Boy think Virgil is actually worth $10 million for that fight, why don't they put it up? If you have that kind of faith in his brand power, why don't you put up the money then?
The terms have already been agreed in a room, Hearn said. If we have to negotiate, we negotiate, but let's not mess the fight up because we are pretending one guy has more than the other. Neither of them have a belt. They are just 2 of the top guys in the division. For me, we're number 1, but I'm not standing here going, we're the A side. I don't care, because all that means is you don't want the fight. If you truly want the fight, let's get to the table and continue the conversations. Let's give the fight fans and DAZN, for me, the best fight in American boxing.
Rick Mirrigan also proposed for Ortiz to next take on Errol Spence Jr., except reportedly, DAZN won't pay for that fight. They won't put the money up. Eddie Hearn said he's not worried that Ortiz can pursue all Texas showdowns against Spence or Charlo, both of whom were also ringside to watch Ortiz's show-stopping performance. Spence and Charlo, those guys just want so much money, and they don't fight, said Hearn. Style, skills, prime is Ennis versus Ortiz. It's a great fight. I don't want to clap back at De La Hoya's comments. Oscar is a great promoter and wants to make great fights. If you truly believe your man will win, let's just make it happen. Both guys are going to go on and have fantastic careers. But this is the kind of fight we need to see in their primes. That's why we're talking now. De La Hoya previously declared that Ennis would duck Ortiz after he witnessed a vicious beating of Lubin in person. Instead, Hearn and Ennis are doubling down on trying to make the matchup that first loomed as a possibility last year a reality once and for all next year.
It's also important to note that Jaron Ennis has opened as the favorite over Virgil Ortiz with the odds makers, with the sports books. Not surprising. Anyone with a mild understanding of boxing and base styles might already understand why Virgil's token pressure fighting, what normally works for him with other fighters, might work against him with Boots Ennis, because those are the kind of guys that make Boots Ennis look good. The guys he doesn't have to chase, the guys that don't move around and away from him. It's the guys that come towards him that he picks apart.
The aggressive guys like David Evanesian, Roman Villa,
Eimantas Stanionis, Luis Malima. It's the guys that try to bear down on him, the guys who try to overpower him, that make him look good, and Virgil Ortiz is that kind of fighter. He's one of those guys. So that anyone with a mild understanding of boxing and base styles would already see how Boots can beat Virgil Ortiz. The odds makers see it. Veteran trainer Breadman Edwards sees it.
But I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to hide my pick because it might offend people. He is going to hurt him. You mark that down. It's not going to be as competitive as y'all think it is. It's going to be a bloodbath. He's going to hurt him, bro. I'm telling you, he's going to hurt him.
So what does, if you're training Virgil, what do you because Robert Garcia is a great trainer. So what do you kind of do if in the back of your head you just like, bruh,
I don't know, man. Robert Garcia is a Hall of Fame trainer, and he knows what he's doing. And he might shut me up, and I might be wrong. He might shut me up. You know what I mean? Robert Garcia is a great trainer. I think his son is a great trainer. They got a great team. They got a great thing going. I don't got nothing to say about that. But at the end of the day, my pick is Boots. I think Robert Garcia is going to do an excellent job and do the best he can with the fight. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Boots is going to hurt Virgil.
YSM Sports Media recently sat down with Breadman Edwards, and you see what he asked him. If you're Robert Garcia, you're Team Ortiz, then what do you do? And you see what they're doing. They're posturing, they're pricing themselves out, essentially putting distance between themselves in a fight. They don't think their guy can win. They can say what they want publicly, but if they really felt they could beat Boots, they would have fought him just as easily as they fought Israel Madrimov, as they fought Sergei Boachuk, as they just fought Erickson Lubin. You say that Boots has to earn the fight.
He hasn't fought anyone. So why would you ask for $10 million up front for a guy who hasn't fought anyone, a guy with no resume? Rick Mirrigan thinks that his fighter is due $10 million for the fight because he's that kind of fighter, so why doesn't Oscar put it up? If they have that kind of faith in this fight's commercial value, they're in bed with DAZN, the same as Matchroom, and you think he's due $10 million? So give it to him.
Go ahead, Oscar.
If you're that confident that he beats Boots, and Rick is that confident that Virgil is good for it, put up the 10 mil.
And you know that they won't, because asking for that dollar amount is just a smokescreen to kill the fight. Whoever denies that likely has a rooting interest in Virgil Ortiz, or they're a member of his team, because it's very obvious to everyone what's happening now. before you accuse me of doing the same thing, I'm not a Boots Ennis guy. I'm not a Boots Ennis supporter. I've long been critical of things that Boots has said and things that Boots has done, none of which hold any bearing here. It's got fuck all to do with Virgil avoiding this fight, and that's what he's doing. Him and his team collectively. Because if this were the fight that Virgil really wanted, and he really liked his chances against Boots, he could put his foot down like Canelo put his foot down when it came to the Lara fight, or how Stephen Fulton put his foot down when it came to the Inoue fight, how Errol Spence Jr. finally came around to fighting Crawford when his team wanted him to fight Keith Thurman. Virgil Ortiz is not a little boy. He's 27 years old. He's close to 30. That if he really wanted the Boots fight, he'd get the Boots fight. Takes two teams to make a fight, two guys, but only one to fuck it up. And that guy is Virgil. And the longer this goes on, the more I favor Boots Ennis to beat him if and when the time comes, because styles, after all, they do make fights, and Boots has the right style for an aggressive, come-forward pressure fighter. He's seen that style plenty of times before. Now, where Virgil is different, where Virgil is better than some other pressure fighters? Well, I think he's faster on his feet because he's younger than some other pressure fighters. I think he punches harder. I definitely think he punches harder than a Roman Villa, and a Montestenionis, and a Wisma Lima. He punches harder than a David Avanesian, and that helps. That has to count for something. He protects himself better than they do. When closing the distance, he doesn't take on as many punches as they do when trying to get close to the target. So he is a cut above any pressure fighter that Boots has seen so far, but he is still a pressure fighter. He is still a guy who's going to try to bear down on Boots, and that would be his undoing. He knows it, his team knows it, the bookies know it. That's why the fight ain't next. What they're hoping for is if they go on a detour and fight other people, hopefully somebody else will get to Boots. Somebody else will beat Boots so that they can come out looking better, or maybe Boots will start to unravel. Maybe Boots will start struggling to make 154, start looking more human. That's what they're hoping for. Because Boots looked just as capable with Wisma Lima as Virgil just looked with Erickson Lubin. And so long as he keeps looking like that, they're not going to want to make this fight. And not with Matchroom. Another reason that Oscar might be asserting A-side status over Matchroom is he wants to be at the helm of the promotion. He wants to pick the ring size, he wants to pick the judges. More CJ Rosses, more Adelaide Birds. Allowing them to cover all the bases if they were to make this fight. If Golden Boy is at the helm of the promotion, you're going to get Golden Boy judges. You might get a Golden Boy decision. You think this fight goes to a decision? No, I don't, actually. I don't think this one makes it to the judges' scorecards, but just in case, Oscar wants to be in control. He wants to be at the helm of the promotion. Though currently there's nothing to promote. The fight isn't made. Personally, I don't think the fight is going to get made anywhere inside of the next 12 months. This is what Oscar De La Hoya does. Quote unquote, marination. How many times have you already seen this? By now you should be used to Golden Boy. Sandbagging it. That's what they do. It's what they're doing now.